Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ali Madawi here with the one and only Dr. Breakthrough, and welcome to a brand new edition of Yup Daily. And today, we're going to cover a topic that we genuinely believe that is relevant for today's day and age more than ever. 2020, if taught us anything, is that nothing is promised tomorrow, and that you are always then about to experience new changes and new challenges. And I can tell you for myself, 13 going on 14 years of business, I've seen a thing or two about advancements and changes. But the gentleman that I have with me right now, Dr. Breakthrough, Dr. Stan Harris, has been in the business community for 41 years, which means he's seen a thing or two. I can tell you there was no Clubhouse when he started, yet he's developed himself to position himself to be in the Motivational Speakers Hall of Fame, 10-time black belt champion, grandmaster black belt champion, a 6-time best-selling co-author, and one of the best voices that you can hear on stages all around the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited for this segment because you get to hear from somebody who can say, let me hear you complain about social media once again, because he's done it over and over and over and over again and built courses, built businesses, built programs and companies all over the world. So, Doc, first and foremost, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share this Yup Daily with you. And how are you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored, just like you. As a matter of fact, I'm too blessed to be depressed, too blessed to be stressed. I'm too glad to be sad, too anointed to be disappointed. I'm too elated to be agitated. I'm too legit to quit. I'm too grounded to be confounded, too grateful to be hateful, too gifted to be restricted, too good to be withstood, and too saved not to be getting paid, and super delighted to be with the one and only Ali Madawi.
Love it, love it, love it. Now, for those of you who are watching, how are you doing today? Are you ready for a Rockstar Tuesday? I think you are. What's going on, Weenie from Australia? What's going on, John Jennings from North Carolina? Hey, Deborah from Indiana. Cindy, I see you. What's going on, Julie from Colorado? Allison Porter, what's going on from Texas? Mary Cademan from England. Gaetan from Canada. I love it. Susan Cagle from Georgia. What's going on? Bill Morton from sunny Florida. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, drop in the comment change if you have a personal relationship. Now, some people have a good relationship with change while others have a bad relationship with change. Doc, you and I talked many times. Matter of fact, we did a whole podcast episode about experiencing that. Could you tell us from your own perspective in the business community, in 41 years, how did you cope with new technologies, new advancements, and new ways of doing things? And was it easy to change, or did you just embrace it?
Well, first of all, let me say, first of all, man, you're like a young genius, dude. Like, I love the way your mind works. And no, seriously, because you have an ability to extract out of people the best, and that's a skill, man. So I want to say, first of all, thank you, man. And
I appreciate you.
Yes. But one of my mentors taught me something that changed my life, because before I was against change. I was like, I'm kind of like, I got this down. It took me so long to learn this. I don't want to change anything. But one of my mentors, Charlie Tremendous Jones, he had written a book called Life is Tremendous. Just incredible guy, part of the $1 Million Roundtable. Just incredible guy. And he's the guy, by the way, if you ever heard the slogan, you'll be the same you are 5 years from now, except for the books you read and the people you meet. Well, Charlie Tremendous Jones is the one who said that. And I just added, and the seminars and challenges you attend. Oh, I don't think they got that, Ali. I'll slip that back in them. You'll be the same you are now 5 years from now, except for the people you meet, the books you read, and the seminars or challenges that you attend. So we were speaking in Dallas, and here's what he said to me, Ali, that changed again, it's Dr. Breakthrough, man. I need more breakthroughs than anybody I know, and I keep going from breakthrough to breakthrough to breakthrough, right? So he said this. He said, Doc, do you know why most people are not successful? And I said, well, I have what I think, but, hey, you're my mentor. What do you say? He said, because they don't have a plan. That's why most people fail, because they don't have a plan. I said, okay, good. That's pretty much what I was thinking. He said, but do you know why most people with a plan, why they fail? I said, wait a minute now. You just said most people fail because they don't have a plan. Now you're saying most people with a plan, you're saying they fail? He said, yes. You want to know why? I said, why? He said, because they stick to their plans. I mean, you'd have to know him, man. He got right in my face. Because they stick to their plans. And here's what he said to me. He said, life is always changing. Things are always maneuvering. Yeah. He said, the people, first of all, you got to set a plan, to have a plan to get on the road to success. But he said, but that plan is going to have to change about 25, 30 times for you to reach and maintain success. So he said, the key is called flexible planning. I was like, ooh, and he told me something. He said, the railroad industry could have owned all of the travel industry. But you know what they said? Nope. We just do railroad. That's all we are. Mm-hmm. And he said, they're doing okay, but not like they could be doing. And so that set something in my mind to say, you know what? I got to get rid of it. Whatever this thing in me that says I don't like change. And part of it, I'll be honest, was, it's part of my laziness, right? Because it's like all this time it took me to learn this. I don't want to change now because this means it's going to take me too much more time, right? And so I had to learn to get over that. So with Charlie Tremendous Jones, again, teaching me, my mentor, teaching me about flexible planning. That's the thing that changed me. I'm going to give you one more quick statement that I think people really need because, it's been stated, Scott Hoffer said, learners shall inherit the earth while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to live in the world that no longer exists. Let me say it again. Somebody that went too fast for somebody. He said, learners shall inherit the earth while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to live in the world that no longer exists. So Ali, so I was thinking, because I have all these, these degrees. I mean, the degrees means you're learned, but that doesn't determine you're going to be successful. As a matter of fact, a lot of people like me that have these different degrees, I tell them, you're probably, to be successful, you're probably going to have to make the commitment. You're going to be right and wrong and broke, or quote unquote wrong and rich and growing. Because the way we've been taught is a certain way, and you're going to have to break that mold. And so, the beautiful thing is somebody your age, man, is like you're more into, you guys came along where things were shifting and changing. So it's a little bit easier for you to adjust and adopt. But when people are used to things for a certain way, man, it's like there's that insecurity. There's that, like I said, part of it, laziness. I've been doing this and I just want to keep this way. But in order for someone to truly be successful, what true champions do is, and this is what helped me in the martial arts, is, I had to learn to adjust. Like, this guy's fighting style is so different. I can't do what I normally do with this guy. Yeah. I've got to adapt. And so anyway.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. And it's funny that the way you just gave that example, I see the awards behind you. Those awards are milestones that were achieved, that celebrated a moment of achievement. But you didn't say, all right, I'm done. Yeah, this is it. Let's tell everybody about this for the rest of our career. No, you went on and you said, no, let's get another one. And let's go get the higher one. And then the higher one, the higher one. And I love that about you, by the way. Doc and I collaborate every single day. And, I'm usually the one who looks at the reports and numbers and is like, hey, how are we doing? Are we getting, am I getting there? Am I doing it better? Am I doing it faster? And it's not just for the sake of ego. He wants to know that he's advancing and growing. And this is someone, again, that achieved all the accolades that I've shared with you. And he still continues to find, where can I do better? Where can I achieve more? And that's the heart of a champion. And the other thing to it is, I think, and please, I need you to elaborate on this. You have a lot more wisdom than I do. A lot of people, when they struggle with change, it's not that they don't want to change. It's the fact that either lack of a vision of what is possible. I was speaking to Takoya Carlton this morning, and we're talking about what's possible. Yeah, so Takoya and I are talking. Is like, I know I got to make things happen. I was like, no wishful thinking. You don't understand, Takoya. See, if you had a remote control and you can do a fast forward to your future and you can see what it looks like, you'll have a whole different way of thinking right now, because I know what my future looks like. I'm just leaving it in slow-mo, but because I already seen the end of the movie, I'm already like, man, I'm already there. So this is why when change comes, I'm like, oh no, I know this is part of the next episode of my life that I need to embrace. And if I resist it, that's because I cannot see that vision of what it will be. So do you think it is vision over fear or fear over vision? Or what in your perspective, from the thousands of people that you work with, what do you think it is that holds people from change?
Wow, great question again, Ali. And by the way, let me just also say, a lot of what I do is not for me. It's for my team. and more importantly for companies, I speak for about 40 different companies, but I want to have effect on whole companies that want to be effective. That is, you got to have a Roger Bannister. You remember they said, your lungs would explode if you'd run a mile in less than 4 minutes. And for 1956 years, they just said, okay, we want. And this guy had the audacity. Now you got to imagine, to some people he seemed arrogant, because for 1956 years it never happened. And the doctors, the experts says your lungs would explode. And you know what he said? I think I'm going to break that record anyway. And when he did, the crazy thing is, before that month was over, 18 additional people did the same thing. So for 1956 years, people didn't do it because everybody was in that circle of sameness. But when they saw one person do it, and they may not even liked his personality, they may not even like the way, but what he did symbolized more could be done. And so when I'm doing things, Ali, that's part of the things that really stirs me on. Is, again, now in my younger days, it was more from, it was like, hey, I got to be the man. But then it's like, no, I've got to be an example. I've got to help kind of break the mold. I got to kind of help it stir up in other people that, hey, you can. But yeah, here's the thing though. I believe it's based on comfort zone. The question you asked me is based on comfort zone, because again, we get in a certain level and it's comfortable to us, right? And as a matter of fact, one of the things I have to teach speakers, trainers, coaches, and basically everyday people that want to influence people in a good way is that don't take things as rejection when people don't accept when you're trying to assist, empower them, because here's a powerful thought. People would rather deal with a familiar problem than an unfamiliar solution. Ooh, let me say that again. In other words, people would rather deal with it's a problem, but they're familiar with it. Yeah. But what you and I are bringing to them is a solution, but they're unfamiliar. So they're more comfortable, they're in their comfort zone to stay there. So what happens is, and that's what my whole breakthrough training is all about, is that, which, by the way, this is today is the 2-year anniversary that I came up with a breakthrough challenge. But here's the thing. People got to learn to come outside their comfort zone. I teach people your success is on the other side of your comfort zone. Life, L-I-F-E, live in freedom every day. Life, L-I-F-E, live in favor every day. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So what I learned, Ali, was when I wasn't that successful, I loved my comfort zone. The more successful I became, I loved being pulled out of my comfort zone. Now, I didn't always do it without kicking and screaming. Come on now, we got to be honest. Sometimes, that circle of sameness just kind of feels good. It's like, but that fear of and one of my things, again, going back to Bill Bailey, one of my other main mentors, he said, people talk about the fear of the unknown. He said, how can you fear what's not known? He said, that doesn't even make sense, right? And so was one great man that said, nothing to fear but fear itself. So what we have to do is come outside our comfort zone. And so, Ali, what I started finding out was the more powerful and successful people are, now this is going to sound crazy, the more they not just embraced being pulled out of their comfort zone, they actually start getting excited about being put in an uncomfortable situation. Because usually it's only when you're in an uncomfortable situation that brings out the greatness that you weren't even aware was there. So Can I give you a quick poem about comfort zone? Okay. I used to have a comfort zone where I knew I could not fail. The same for wall and busy work were more like jail. Excuse me. I used to have a comfort zone where I knew I could not fail. The same four walls and busy work were really more like jail. I longed so much to do the things I'd never done before, but stayed inside my comfort zone and paced the same old floor. I said it didn't matter that I wasn't doing much. I said I didn't care for things like diamonds, cars, or such. I claimed to be so busy with the things inside my zone, but deep inside I longed for some sweet victory of my own. I couldn't let my life go by just watching others win. So I held my breath and took a step to let the change begin. Mm-hmm. I took a step, and with new strength I never felt before, I kissed my comfort zone goodbye and closed and locked the door. If you are in a comfort zone afraid to venture out, remember that all winners were at one time filled with doubt. A step or two and words of praise can make your dreams come true. So greet your future with a smile. Success is there for you, and your success is at the end of your comfort zone. So yes, like you said, you got to have a vision of your success that'll pull you outside your comfort zone. And the greatest book ever written says, literally, it's been said, start with the end in mind, but that came from the Bible, my friend. And so when you do that, you have this vision, like you said, you already are there. Like you said, I love the way you put that in slow motion. You're just on your way there. And so successful people do that. And so I'm gonna give you one more thought. I said, but this is it. One more thought. That's
what we're here for. Give me the love.
Okay, watch this. So in times of change, like what's happening now, I mean, my goodness, right? I mean, you used to have to get my age before you start talking about how things were changing. Now people your age and younger are like, dude, it's changing so fast, even for us, right? So in times of change, watch it. This is so powerful. Please, folks, get this. In times of change, people either build walls out of fear to protect themselves, or out of faith, they build windmills to profit themselves and others. And with the Young Entrepreneur Project, what Jimmy Azell, what you guys are doing, and gals, what you're like, we dare in the wind of change, in the wind of adversity, in the wind of everything changing, my friend. Guess what? We are going ahead. We are pushing ahead. And so you built windmills, and then even improving on those windmills that are creating profit. And you're doing that out of faith. Faith, that's something that you can't see physically, but you see with the eyes of belief, right? See, most people, they believe what they see, but true champions, they start working to see and make others see what they believe. So you got a chance. And I used to do this out of fear. I would build that wall to protect myself. And that same wall I built to protect me locked me in the box. And then when I said, you know what, out of faith, by the way, faith, F-A-I-T-H, fully anticipating it to happen. See, why do people procrastinate, Ali? Because like you said, they get caught in the minutia of what's happening. They don't have that vision. And that's what I love about Jimmy Azell. The guy is such a visionary. I mean, he paints a picture that sucks you in. Like you got to be holding on like, no, I'm not. It's like, pulls you in, like, okay, there you go. Yeah. All right. And so, and by the way, you love to be in once you get sucked in too, by the way. Yeah. And you're an expert also at doing that. And so, but here's the thing though, people just have to, you got to see the vision. See here, I meet these people all the time. Say, Doc, I'm trying to write my book. I can't, can you give me some things? Yeah. If you knew your book was going to be a #1 bestseller, you wouldn't be, it's not procrastination, anxiety, writer's block. No. You have anxiety. You just don't think, you're not sure the book's going to sell. You're not sure it's going to go out right. But if you knew as soon as you finish that book, it's going to be a #1 bestseller, you get that thing done yesterday, right? So that's the power of a visionary that can see something. And it's like Jim Rohn. I used to travel and speak with him before he passed on, bless his soul and his memories. But, he talks about how he took his friend into his quote unquote imaginary house. He said, now to his friend, it was an imaginary house, but he said to me, like I was bumping into stuff and I could almost feel it because to me it was so real because I played that picture in my head over and over again. And Ali, in the martial arts, before I retired, I would see, that's one of the secrets we would do. In my mind, I would see this match with this guy who was so good, right? And they said, Harris, you got to watch out for this guy, right? But in my mind, I would play and see it happen, see him striking at me, see me blocking, see me kicking back and hitting him, and the referee calling the point. I would see it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm telling you, to the point where I could see it, touch it, taste it, feel it, and just over and over and over again. And it's scary that many times the fight came out almost exactly like it did how I imagined it, because I kept. Until the body doesn't know the difference, the mind doesn't know the difference between that which is real and that which is vividly imagined. So visionaries see the thing a long time before it happens, and then they just work to recreate, to manifest what they have already seen and felt for a long time. That's the thing that decides and will make a difference in this changing world. And if people would look at the end result, but again, they're looking at the change. They're looking at oh my goodness, but if they, I'm being drawn outside my comfort zone. But if they would see the end result, then it's like, oh, I can embrace it now.
I love it. One thing that comes to mind when you start sharing that vision also with people around you, it becomes intimidating to their own thoughts, and they try to embody and force their own limited visions onto you. I love Ray Dalio, arguably one of the best visionaries, top 7 richest man in the world, interviewed Elon Musk back in 2011 or 2010. And he asked him, he's like, "Hey, so you're getting into this space thing. Do you have history in this space?" And Elon Musk like, no. He's like, "Are you a rocket scientist?" He's like, "No, absolutely not." He's like, "Have you ever written a book or read a book?" He was like, "No, not at all." He's like, "So why are you investing like your fortune on like SpaceX for Mars?" Here's the answer that he gave him. This is like crazy. He goes like, "I believe that one day, eventually, the aliens are going to make it here and they're going to try to colonize us. And I believe that it's going to end up being really, really bad for us. So I'm just trying to stay ahead of the curve and kind of find a new home for us where we can either have the aliens live there alongside with us, where we're not that crowded." This is what Elon Musk, who's now the wealthiest man in the world, had this is what he said. That's the answer. Ray Dalio, and it's in one of his books. And Ray Dalio is like, "I actually thought that he was on something, or he was drunk and he was being funny, but I asked him again and again and he insisted." He's like, "No, that's literally, I genuinely believe that we're going to need another Earth or another planet that we have to colonize and live in order to be survival." No, but just hold on. I'll tell you. But here's my point. Let me take it from me, for example. I spoke to a family member a couple of months ago. They were asking me like, "Hey, what do you anticipate to happen, with this whole Yup thing and the movement you guys are creating?" I was like business wise or for me? They're like, "No, for you." I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I want to do a little more for the family and, for my community." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you were always talking about moving out of where you are. Are you still planning on it?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Like, "Okay, because I know a realtor that it can help you." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll let you know when I'm ready." It's like, "But just make sure you let me know because this realtor works in this county. Like, I know exactly." I was like, "Oh, no, if I'm moving, I'm not going there." Like, "Well, where are you going?" I was like, "Oh, I'm probably looking at this town, or this town." He's like, "Dude, that's like, $2 to $3 million homes, like nothing lesser than that." I was like, "Okay." It's like, "Bruh, like, you don't understand. The taxes are going to be really high." I'm like, "Okay." It's like, "There's no cars in the driveways besides Porsches and Bentleys and Rolls Royces." I'm like, again, what are you getting at? And he was trying to force his limited beliefs onto, how dare you to think to elevate your lifestyle and do more for you, because they did not have their own vision in order. So how do we protect ourselves from those who are around us who try to force their limited beliefs on us? And how do we handle that?
Wow, man. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say that when you talk about the Elon Musk thing, I don't subscribe to the whole alien thing, but the key is, if a person has a belief system, because right in the middle of the word beliefs is the word lie. And so we get to figure out what lies we want to believe in, right? And so whether you're lying to yourself, saying, "Well, I'm going to be in this $20 million home," it doesn't matter, right? But you believe it strong enough, you make it come to fruition. But what I was going to say was, when you said the guy said he's on something, he was drunk on something. He was drunk on faith. He was drunk on his vision. Mm-hmm. It's like I've never drunk a drop of alcohol in my life by the grace of God, but because my grandfather was alcoholic and I had to drug him out. But I saw how Johnny Walker would change the way people walk, talk, right, and influence them. And literally, people with a vision they really are on something. It's like being on a drug, being the alcohol. They're being intoxicated. They're being controlled by a substance. And actually, the substance doesn't control you. The substance releases what's really that's been inhibiting you, right? A guy who's real quiet, now he's drunk and he's like loud. He always wanted to say those things, but he just never, you know what I mean? And so when people get drunk or intoxicated or high on a vision, yeah. Ooh, come on now, that man. So and here's what happens. Because, so I'm going to take it. I'm a minister of the gospel also. So I'm going to bring that in if you don't mind. And that is this. I grew up, they always just say, "Oh, you got to stay away from the wrong crowd. You got to stay away from the wrong crowd." And so that wasn't my issue. You know what I found out? I didn't have to worry about staying from the wrong crowd. All I had to do was make sure I was who I was supposed to be. And the wrong crowd didn't want to be around me. They would say stuff like, "Dude, you're too positive, man. We don't want to be around you. Dude, you're always talking about these dreams and goals." And so what I would say to you is again, we got to switch We got to switch from talking about, well, should I be around them? Because they try to put their limiting. No. You just got to be strong in who you are. Just keep on. And again, the thing is, like this challenge we have coming up, you got to get to surround yourself with other people that have dreams and goals higher and bigger than yours, that'll keep feeding into yours. And hopefully, by the grace of God, some of those people that were trying to rain on your parade, because really what happens is deeply inside, they know that's what they should be doing, but they've settled and they sit back. And if you do what you say you're going to do, it's going to make them look bad. So really, it's like self-preservation for them. However, you can be used to help raise them instead of just staying away from them. So again, if I'm insecure in who I am and what I want to do, then I would have to try to get away from them because they may talk me out of this. But bro, there's no insecurity here. I know exactly. But not only that, I then spend time on purpose with people who have bigger dreams and goals that suck me into theirs and make me say, well, I wanted to reach 1 million people with my 21-day breakthrough challenge. Now somebody just challenged me, why don't you reach 100 million? I'm like, oh, I thought 1 million was big thinking. Like now, well, yeah, there's 7.4 billion people in the world. So you see what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to stay away from them people that's like, Doc, 1 million. I mean, come on, man. You might need to. I'm just spending the right time with the people that are like, Doc, you should set your sights on 100 million. I was like, oh, wow. And that's what I love about what you guys do with these challenges, man. You give people an opportunity for free to be exposed to big thinkers and big spirits. By the way, small spirits can't handle big spirits, and they'll try to squelch them, like you're saying. But if the big spirits just keep on being fed into, being poured into, and that's the purpose. That's why it's so important to be reading books. It's so important to have information like this, and I'll leave the different people that you have on. I mean, this is empowering, and that will keep a person's vision not just revived, but they'll actually rev it up a little bit. And so the true key is not trying to avoid those people. The true key is keeping as much time you can on purpose with these other folks that bring you up. And I'll say this, proper alignment. This is so good. I was meditating on this morning. Proper alignment will empower you to prosper and fulfill your purposeful assignment. Oh, they didn't get that, Ali. They didn't. Can I say that one more time?
Yes,
I said proper alignment will empower you to prosper and as you fulfill your purposeful assignment. So when your true assignment in life is way bigger than you. So you have to surround yourself with other people, oftentimes that are sharper and so forth, and as a team. And so I keep saying we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. And that's why I love saying like me, man, I'm like so over the top. Like I'm like so super alpha male. Like I gotta have guys like you that are like cool and chill, just like and my wife is always telling me, baby, just breathe. And I mean, I've changed so much already, but I still got room to grow, and I'm still getting there. But we got to have these different people in our lives. And so, man, I want to say again, thank you for who you are and for what you're doing for the community to bring different people together and hear these different perspectives. Because we all have blind spots and we don't know what we don't know. Right. But we think we know, but we don't know. And then when we're exposed to more, it's like, oh, I see. Now I can go.
Sir. Right on. Well, I appreciate you, obviously. And speaking of growth and speaking of a community, if you haven't noticed in the trigger that we have in the bottom, the Yup to Freedom 5-day challenge is coming to life January 18th till the 22nd. And you absolutely 100% want to go ahead and get registered. It's yuptofreedomchallenge.com. It's 100% complimentary. It's not free. It's 100% complimentary. The difference is someone else paid for it for you. Now, yes, there will be some upgrade options if you want to do. We have a $7 or $47 upgrades that gives you some bonus training videos that you're going to receive right away. Have access to VIP sessions in the afternoons. The 47 allows you to get the recordings for life. Plus, you get a one-on-one coaching session at the end with your favorite coach. whomever that may be.
So can I sign up again so I can get a session with you?
Oh, man, you got it 100%. Now, also, if I may, there's 2 opportunities for those of you who say, well, I want to know more about the community before I commit to the challenge. Again, although it's complimentary, but some say I want to learn more about you guys. 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. YEPTribeZoom.com. YEP, Y-E-P, TribeZoom.com. And we're going to be doing a vision call with myself, our Chief Sales Officer, CEO, and we're just going to be educated on who, how, where, when, how do we teach, how do we train, how do we set you up as an entrepreneur to take advantage of 6 different verticals, and no matter what business you are building, whether it's yours or ours. So we're excited. We appreciate you, Dr. Breakthrough. I'm grateful for you that you got to share this platform with me, and we see you all at the top. Until next time, peace out, everybody.
Can I give him one quote as we go out, please?
Yeah, go for it. You take the last quote.
Okay, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but rather it will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Yes, sir. Amen to that. Stay blessed, everybody.